There you go. No, I'm saying boom. So then when you extend it, boom, this is protecting you. This is right here. You know what I mean? Because look, if I throw a hook, no, I'm saying, if I'm here, boom, and you throw a hook, I'm just gonna turn. I'm just gonna turn on my shoulder. Waiting too much.
I feel I got the speed over Canelo. I got the reach over him. He might got the size, the power. I got the better skills, boxing skills.
Would it be more of a cat and mouse?
Terence Crawford has just analyzed Canelo Alvarez's fighting style in detail and revealed exactly how he plans to dethrone him on September 13th. On the other hand, Caleb Plant shared that he expects the fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford to be thrilling and filled with non-stop action. He believes the punch output will be much higher than in Canelo's bout against John Ryder, which he found slow and predictable. Plant explained that Ryder's defensive mindset and low volume made for a cautious fight, which didn't surprise him. He recalled that Canelo has admitted in the past he dislikes facing opponents who don't engage much. In contrast, Plant said the clash with Crawford will be completely different due to their contrasting styles. Crawford is known for his speed and high punch rate, which Plant feels will lead to a much more exciting fight.
I think it's going to be a good fight. Yeah, I think it's going to be an exciting fight. I think there's going to definitely be some back and forth and a lot more punches thrown than the skull fight. I kind of honestly was expecting that with the skull fight. Yeah. I heard Canelo say in an interview before he don't like to fight certain fighters because you heard him say that.
Yeah, he doesn't like fighting fighters like Skull because they don't throw punches. That's all they do, yeah. And
knowing how Skull fights and him being a Cuban, and I felt like I had seen that coming from a mile away. I didn't really expect it to be a... I thought he was either going to wind up catching him and stopping him, or it's going to wind up being how it went. So, but that's a stylistic matchup, you know, and it's going to be a completely different stylistic matchup between him and Bud, and I think it's going to make for an exciting fight, a good fight.
When asked if Canelo should be the favorite, Plant said it makes sense that most would lean toward him since he's the naturally bigger man, and Crawford is moving up in weight. Still, he noted that people tend to put too much stock in size, and betting lines aren't always a true reflection of who will win. He reminded fans that he was once seen as an underdog, but still went on to win a world title. While he didn't choose a winner, Plant said he's excited to watch the fight as a fan and expects a high-level matchup that could turn out to be something special.
Regardless of however the fight itself plays out, I feel like the betting, you know, the betting people will probably have Canelo as a favorite simply because, you know, Terence is moving up a couple weight classes, and people will say, oh, there's weight classes for a reason and this and that. So it doesn't matter what the betting odds say, though. You know what I'm saying? I've been the underdog a couple times. Jose Uzcategui, I was the underdog. That's how I became world champion. So odds only mean so much. You know, once the bell rings, the fighters get to figure it out.
Do you think Canelo wins, or do you think Terence wins? This is my last one.
Can't say. Can't say. Don't know. I'm just, as a fan, excited to see the fight, and from the boxing knowledge that I have, which I feel like is decent, I think it's going to be a real good fight. I'm excited for it.
Moreover, Showbiz the Adult said Terence Crawford has developed a habit of walking opponents down and relying on his physical gifts because he's often been too athletic or too dominant for his competition. He compared it to what he calls the Paul Williams or Mark Breland disease, where natural talent leads to bad habits. Crawford tends to use a high guard, parrying shots and countering while absorbing punches on his arms and shoulders. Showbiz warned that this approach could be risky against a true 168-pounder like Canelo Alvarez, whose punches will feel different, and noted that Crawford has rarely shown the ability to fight off the back foot and win without getting touched.
Terence Crawford has been getting hit flush repeatedly forever, but he has what I like to call the Paul Williams disease or the Mark Breland disease, where you've been too athletically gifted or too big for your eye. So you have built this bad habit of saying, now I'm gonna walk you down and whip your ass. Nobody has really been able to hurt Crawford. What Crawford does to walk you down and whip your ass is putting his guard up, very similar to Canelo, or he'll do this. And he would block with that hand, he'll parry, and he'll hit. Because he's just too physical. He will end up being like, bam, bam, catching your punches to throw his, and he'll walk you down. And my problem with that is you're dealing with a 168-pound Canelo, who's going to hit your arms, hit your shoulders. It's going to feel different. I've never known Crawford to box off his back foot, swim without getting wet, and just outpoint you. That's not him.
Shakur Stevenson also voiced his opinion, saying he believes Terence "Bud" Crawford will come out victorious over Canelo Alvarez. He gave credit to Canelo's skill and legacy, but said Crawford has the tools and versatility to win. When the subject of weight was brought up, Shakur minimized its role, suggesting it's often blown out of proportion. He pointed out that, unlike naturally large fighters like David Benavidez, Canelo doesn't hold a huge size advantage over Crawford. Shakur also mentioned a conversation with Bozy Ennis, where they both agreed that if Canelo loses focus or underestimates Crawford, there's a real chance Crawford could score a stoppage.
I think Bud gonna cook Canelo. I think he's gonna cook him. I think, Canelo a hell of a fighter, but I think Bud just got all the tools to beat him.
You don't think the weight difference is gonna be too big of an advantage?
I think y'all make that something, in certain fights,
Boxing makes it something, not us.
like if this was like a Benavidez, he's actually a lot bigger than Bud, so that would like apply. But I feel like with Canelo, he's like physically kind of big, but like height wise, he's kind of small. So I don't think so. No.
Corey, how you got a decision to stop this? Because Bradman and Bozy think that Bud actually might stop it.
Me and Bozy talked about that. That's crazy. Me and him got on the phone, talked about it, but I think that's possible. Like, I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but I think it's a possibility if Canelo gets to acting out of line and not understanding that Bud can crack too. So.
However, Terence Crawford shared that he anticipates Canelo Alvarez will approach their fight by blending his boxing ability with pressure, using his size to try to wear him down. While Crawford acknowledged that Canelo is the naturally bigger fighter, he emphasized that he's fully prepared for whatever strategy Canelo brings to the ring and is ready for all scenarios.
I'm expecting Canelo to be Canelo. He's the bigger man. I expect him to, box a little bit, but I also expect him, to try to walk me down and be the bigger man. So, we expect everything in there. No, it definitely don't matter. The odds can't fight for him. So, it is what it is.
Crawford also urged fans not to miss the action on September 13th, calling it a showdown between two of the sport's best. He described it as a high-stakes battle, with one fighter looking to maintain his dominance and the other striving to take that position. With so much on the line for both men, Crawford said the fight promises to be something truly special.
Because it's going to be a spectacular fight. You got two great fighters, going head-to-head, and trying to dethrone you got one fighter trying to dethrone the other one, and you got the other one trying to, stay at the top. So, it's going to be a great fight. Both of us got a lot to lose, but a lot to gain. So, I think that's why everybody should tune in, because it's going to be a hell of a fight.
Moreover, Romero expressed that he genuinely wants Terence Crawford to deliver a one-sided beating to Canelo Alvarez. He emphasized this opinion multiple times, clearly showing strong emotions behind it. When asked to explain his stance, Romero pointed to something Canelo did in a recent bout, which he considered a major insult to the sport. While he recognized the challenges that come with differences in weight, Raleigh said his backing of Crawford stems from both his personal feelings and his disappointment in Canelo's conduct, which he labeled as a serious offense to boxing.
Canelo. I hope Crawford beats the shit out of him.
Really? Yeah?
Now, I'll tell you like this, the weight division things, but I hope Crawford beats the shit out of him.
Why do you want to see Crawford beat the ish out of Canelo?
I just hope Crawford beats the shit out of him.
Why? Like, Canelo, is it because of the last fight? Like you haven't been a fan of Canelo, or like why? Like, you like Crawford that much? Took your coffee.
What Canelo did on that day was disrespectful to boxing. It was just simply disrespectful to boxing in every way.
In a separate conversation, Romero added that he doesn't view Canelo versus Crawford as a true marquee event. Though he acknowledged Canelo's abilities and achievements, he argued that a clash with David Benavidez would carry more weight and importance. He was critical of the idea that simply putting a much smaller fighter like Crawford in against a bigger opponent makes the fight significant. According to Raleigh, what defines a truly major fight is either matching elite fighters within the same division or bringing together two big-name stars who can deliver an entertaining spectacle for fans.
I don't think Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia 2 is a big fight.
I was gonna ask you about that. I was gonna
I
ask you.
don't, I don't think that's a big fight. I don't think Canelo Crawford's a big fight.
No?
I think I think Canelo Benavidez is a big fight.
I think that's huge.
I don't think a dude moving up 3 weight divisions to go fight a dude that's twice his size, you know, I know he looked bigger than him the other day, but I mean, obviously, you know, regardless, I don't think that that's not making a big fight.
What is making a big fight? Like, how do you make a big fight?
You take the best person in one weight division, you put another person in the weight division, make a big fight, or you get 2 stars that are entertaining as hell and you make a big fight like that.
Still, Romero stands firm in his belief that size will ultimately decide the outcome if Crawford and Canelo meet. He was direct in his remarks, calling anyone who believes Crawford can win a complete idiot. Raleigh stressed that weight divisions exist for a reason, and noted that while Canelo may be the bigger man, he's also technically sharp. In Romero's opinion, this isn't a matter of skill or experience, but a matter of physicality. For that reason, he doesn't believe Crawford has any realistic path to victory.
We got Canelo, we got Terence Crawford. That's going to happen in the fall. It's going to happen here in Sin City, your hometown. How do you feel about that matchup?
Anyone that thinks Crawford has a chance is a complete idiot. They have weight classes for a reason.
Too big? Too skilled?
Way too big, way too skilled. And this isn't a skill matchup. It has nothing to do with skill. It has to do with weight.
Joel Diaz made it clear that he doesn't believe Terence Crawford has a realistic shot at beating Canelo Alvarez, despite calling Crawford his favorite fighter and the best pound-for-pound boxer in the sport. He stressed that jumping from 147 to 168 pounds is a massive step up, and while Crawford might perform well in the early rounds, the size and power difference would eventually become too much. Diaz pointed out that Canelo has absorbed clean punches from heavy hitters like Gennady Golovkin without serious trouble, and if he lands clean on Crawford, the impact could be significant.
There is no way that Terence Crawford, being to me my favorite fighter, I mean the best fighter pound for pound, can beat Canelo. I mean, a 147 pounder moving up to 68, I mean, he can only maybe go 2-3 rounds, good 2-3 rounds, and then Canelo hits him and he hurts him. Canelo's being hit by Triple G, the hardest hitter in the division, and never hurt him. But Canelo will hit Crawford and he'll hurt him.
Diaz likened the matchup to Demetrius Andrade's fight with David Benavidez, where Andrade looked sharp at first, but quickly faded once the physical disparity became clear. He believes Crawford would face a similar outcome no matter how skilled he is. According to Diaz, the fight seems more like a business decision than a genuine competitive matchup, with Crawford chasing a big payday rather than entering a fight on equal terms.
You remember the fight Benavidez and Demetrius Andrade? Yes. Demetrius Andrade was a great fighter. Nobody wanted to fight him at 54. He moved to 60. Fight 1 or 2. Nobody wanted to fight him at 60. So what did he do? He moved up to 68 because there was nothing for him to fight Benavidez, a big fighter like that. I mean, look what he did in the first early round. Demetrius Andrade was in control. He was doing great. But once that weight starts kicking in, it takes over. There is no way that Crawford can beat Canelo. I mean, Turkey Al-Sheikh is a big fan of Terence Crawford. He wants to give him a good payday, and simple as that. That's all it is, man.
Teddy Atlas expressed deep respect for Terence Crawford, describing him as truly exceptional. Although he holds Canelo Alvarez in high regard as a great boxer, he believes Crawford possesses a rare talent that distinguishes him from others. Atlas emphasized Crawford's natural abilities, such as his timing, instincts, intense focus, and his capacity to stay composed under pressure. He explained that Crawford's calmness goes beyond simply being relaxed. It's about perceiving and responding to things others cannot.
I just think Crawford's real special. I think Canelo's really good. But I think Crawford is special. I know he hasn't fought the resume everyone wants, but you have that or you don't have that ingredient. I think he has it. I see it. The timing, the instinct, the eyes, the ability to be chilly cold chilly cold, not just cold and calm, but chilly cold, where you can see things other people don't see and react to it just.
Teddy also spoke about Crawford's move up to 154 pounds, admitting that while his performance wasn't flawless, he faced a skilled adversary with a challenging style. He noted that Crawford was adapting to a new division, which added to the difficulty of the fight. Teddy stressed that boxing fans sometimes expect fighters to deliver perfect performances constantly, but certain circumstances demand patience. Despite these obstacles, Crawford did what was required to earn the victory. Teddy believes that Crawford's greatness stems from his mindset, drive, and personal background.
I know he didn't have a great performance when he moved up to 154, but he was fighting a good fighter. He was fighting a guy that fought a very difficult style at that moment, and he was fighting at a weight class that was foreign to him, and we had to give him a minute. Nobody wants to give anyone a minute in this business. You're supposed to be great, you got to be great every minute. But I gave him a minute to kind of get his feet settled at a new weight class. And he still did what he had to do to win. But I still see the greatness. The greatness is within Crawford. It's in his desire, it's in his mind, it's in his makeup. It's in his background, where he came from.
Greg Hackett shared that while he can't definitively say what Terence "Bud" Crawford is incapable of, he doesn't believe Crawford will be able to knock out Canelo Alvarez. He noted that if Crawford thinks he can, that's up to him. Hackett gave a slight edge to Canelo in the matchup, pointing out that moving up to 168 pounds might cause Crawford to fight more cautiously. He suggested that despite Crawford's speed and power, Canelo's strength at that weight could make Crawford more hesitant and careful with his punches.
I mean, I can't say what a man can't do. You know what I mean? But do I see that happening? Yeah. No, I don't see it happening. But if he believe it, hey, I mean, I want to see.
Who would you favor in that fight? You like Bud by decision?
Slight edge to Canelo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Bud. I'm a fan of Bud. I think Bud is a great fighter, but I just think 68 is gonna make him a little bit hesitant. He gonna feel good. He gonna be strong. He gonna have some good speed, but I think he's just gonna be a little bit hesitant. He won't pull the trigger right away.
Lonnie B expressed doubt that the Canelo versus Crawford fight will actually happen, suggesting it might be a way to test public interest. Still, he admitted that if the fight does occur, it would likely draw a lot of attention and be very popular. While acknowledging Crawford's notable talent, Lonnie B stressed the importance of size in boxing. He argued that a great big man will usually defeat a great smaller man, though a great smaller man can still beat a good bigger man. In his opinion, Canelo qualifies as a great big man.
I don't believe that's gonna happen, but if they say it's gonna happen, I guess so. But
why you don't think it's gonna happen?
I just think it's all bluff. I think they're just putting the string out there to see if it'll do well, which I think the fight will do extremely well. But I think like Crawford got skills, but I think size matter in boxing. I think a great big man always beats a great small man. You know, but I think a great small man beats a good big man. I think Canelo's a great big man.
Carmel Motan described the upcoming September showdown between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford as a major event, highlighting that Crawford is moving up 2 weight classes to compete for the undisputed super middleweight crown. He recognized that smaller fighters often struggle when moving up in weight, but he thinks Crawford genuinely has a solid chance. Motan acknowledged the challenge of the jump, but viewed the fight as evenly matched, calling it a 50-50 scenario. He admitted he isn't sure who will come out on top and believes the outcome will depend on who performs better on fight night. Ultimately, he said the real winners in this matchup will be the fans.
Well, it's a big jump for sure, but I feel like Crawford definitely has a great chance. I feel like it's a 50-50 fight. I really don't know who will come out on top of that one. I just feel like the better man that night will win. So I feel like the fans are the winners in that one.
Lamont Roach expressed admiration for both Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, calling them outstanding athletes. When pressed to pick a winner, he found it tough because he supports both fighters. However, he admitted that Canelo's punching power worries him. Roach pointed out that Canelo hits very hard, and that level of strength makes him uneasy about how the fight could play out.
Canelo versus Bud Crawford. I'm kind of have to put you in the spot. Who you like? Who you going with?
I like both. I'm a fan of Canelo. I'm a fan of Terence Crawford. They're both amazing fighters. Canelo's just a huge
huge puncher, bro. It scares me a little bit.
Abel Sanchez commended both Crawford and Canelo as intelligent and skilled fighters, but gave the edge to Canelo due to his size and defensive abilities. He noted that Canelo has taken heavy shots from powerful opponents like Gennady Golovkin, Dmitry Bivol, and Sergey Kovalev without showing signs of weakening, proving his ability to absorb power. Sanchez pointed out that Crawford tends to get hit more often, even at 154 pounds, and argued that no matter how well Crawford performs or how much weight he gains, facing someone with Canelo's strength and size is a completely different challenge.
First of all, Terence Crawford is a great fighter, but so is Canelo. I think that, in my opinion, their IQ is similar, except Canelo doesn't get hit like Crawford gets hit. In my opinion, Canelo's a bigger man. Not that he started out as a bigger man, but he's now a bigger man. He has been hit by not only Gennady, who's one of the biggest punchers that I've ever coached and I've ever seen, but he's also been hit by Bivol, by Kovalev, who's a big puncher. You know, he's been hit by big guys. Crawford had a hard time with a 154-pounder who hit him often. So I think that no matter how much weight he puts on, no matter how smart he thinks he is or how big he thinks he is, he's going to be getting hit by a truck.
Sanchez also suggested that Crawford might have success in the early rounds by using his speed and timing to take some initial rounds. However, as the fight progresses, he expects Canelo's strength and experience to dominate. Around round 6 or 7, Sanchez believes Canelo will find his rhythm, land clean shots, and take control of the fight. Though Canelo may not move his feet much, Sanchez praised his upper body movement, head control, defensive awareness, and powerful punching. He predicted that Canelo will either stop Crawford late in the fight or win decisively on the scorecards, and warned that Crawford's corner must be prepared to intervene if the fight becomes too one-sided.
And he's not used to that. And I think that at the beginning, just like it was with Kell Brook and Gennady, at the beginning the speed and the talent will show in the fight. I think Canelo will lose 3 or 4 rounds at the beginning, but then once he starts pounding on him, as it's been for the last 6-7 fights of Canelo, after the 6th or 7th round, it's a sparring session for him. You know, he's just throwing bombs away and not caring about what they do to him. But he's got excellent defense. Unfortunately, his feet don't move as well as I would like for him to move them, but his upper body is just unbelievable. He slips punches very well. He's got great hands. He parries very well, and he lands big shots. He may not land as many, but he lands big shots that hurt. So I think Canelo stops him, or wide decision at the end, and corner must think about Crawford's safety and health.
That's it for today's video. So what are your thoughts on this? Share your thoughts in the comment section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video. Also check out our other videos on the screen right now.